Hey folks, Eric Bray, Focus Fishing Guide Service. Got another video fishing report for you for Table Rock. It is Tuesday, July the 30th. Been out on the water pretty much every day for the last week. Some here, some on Taneycomo, but fishing every day. Got about another 2 weeks and then the kids go back to school and things will slow down a little bit, and hopefully the boat traffic will slow down a little bit as well. As far as our lake level is concerned, we're at 917.71 as of this morning. Puts us 0.71, so a little bit more than half a foot high from normal summer pool, so getting pretty close to normal pool. They do have the gates fixed on Taneycomo from what I understand, so Taneycomo is going to get back to normal. Beaver is still a little bit high, so they are running water mostly in the afternoon. On Beaver, Bull Shoals still high. They are draining it down as fast as they can, taking into account all the flooding on the Mississippi. But fishing's been pretty good here. It's been pretty good. We're catching a few fish. Today was really slow, which kind of surprised me. I'm all the way up at Eagle Rock today and expected the bite to be better. I think that front that pushed through with all the rain yesterday and the 2+ hours of fog we had this morning really kind of hurt our bite this morning. But we caught a few, but it wasn't nearly as good as I would anticipate fishing up here. As far as our water temperature is concerned, up here we're 85, 86. I know down by the dam we're in the low to mid 80s. Up the James you will find some warmer water, 87, 88, some 90s. Up the Kings you're going to find some warmer water, especially if you get up around Sweetwater or go above there, you'll find water in the 90s as well. So we are definitely in a summer pattern. But if you guys are coming down, so you're going to fish the lower end of the lake, I hate harping on the lower end of the lake because I do like to fish down there, but it's been tough. It's definitely still the toughest area of the lake. We are catching a few more fish than we were before, but we still don't have a thermocline, so we're still not getting the good deep bite that we normally have down there. If you are going to go down, make sure you have a topwater tied on. Spook, Sammy, Whopper, Plopper, Popar, Surge Shad, whatever topwater you like to throw. There has been a decent topwater bite. Hit it right time, right place, and you can catch a few on a topwater for the first about 30 minutes of the morning. Once that slows down, a little bit on swim bait. I gotta tell you, the swim bait bite when I was down there the other day was not as good as I had thought it would be with the number of fish I saw suspended, so the swim bite is a little bit tougher than it should be. Best bite down there is definitely going to be on a drop shot. Shad shaped worm, cut tail worm, UV drop shot worm, Chomper's drop shot worm. In those trees, we're still catching more fish in trees than we are catching out on those gravel runouts, and I really think that's a product of not having a thermocline set up yet. I'm keying on trees back in creeks, trees on the ends of bluffs, keying on some bigger boat docks. Seems like I can catch a few fish off of the ends of some of the community docks around the cables, but these fish are all suspended. I'm not seeing a lot of fish, especially down by the dam area, that are holding tight to the bottom on those long gravel runouts. So look at the trees, look at the wave break docks, look at the community docks. That's where you're going to catch your fish on a drop shot. Go up into the Kimberling City area, topwater bite again. Catching a lot of fish on topwater early. Spook, Sammy, Whopper, Plopper, Popar, Surge Shad, whatever your favorite topwater is, have that tied on. That bite's a little bit better there. There's not a lot of rhyme or reason to where these fish are. Most of them are relating to treetops, and I think they're the same fish we're catching out of trees later in the day. But we have caught a few on some of the flatter rock and gravel mixed points this past week, but the majority of them seem to be back in some of the creeks. Back in Mill Creek was good. White's Branch, Kennel Branch. They're just kind of hanging over top of the trees, so it's really not easy to pattern them. You have to look for them, and when you do start to see them coming up, that's when you got to chase after them and throw your top water at them. A lot of these fish, what I'm doing a lot of times is I'm just running down the middle of the creek and waiting for them to come up and bust, and just kind of fan cast until we start to see them to come up and bust. Once you do get a group busting, though, they will stay up for a little while. So you can catch them on a topwater in the Kimberling City area. Definitely catch them on a swim bait as well. These same areas where these fish are coming up on a topwater, you can catch them on a swim bait. Throw in the 2.8, 3.3, or the Bass Pro Speed Shad in a 3-inch on a 1/4 ounce head has been my best offering. throwing it out, counting it down about 10 seconds to get it down around that 10 to 15 foot range, and then slowly rolling it in. I mean, you can't fish it too slow right now. You certainly don't want to burn it, but you can catch a few doing that, and then a drop shot rig. Guy asked me today how many fish I think percentage-wise I catch on a drop shot this time of year. I would probably say somewhere between 75 and 80% of the fish that we catch on trips are caught on a drop shot rig this time of year. So we're fishing the drop shot. Again, we're fishing in trees, back in the creeks, on the bluff ends, around some of the bigger docks, around the bridge pilings at the Kimberling Bridge, using a shad shape, using a cut tail, using a UV drop shot worm, and using a Chomper's drop shot worm. So drop shot you definitely want to have tied on as well. Go up into the James, and the James, we got a lot of rain yesterday, so I haven't been up the James since we got the rain. I imagine it dirtied up. I imagine it's got some current, and I would imagine you can catch them on a jig up there. I know guys have been catching them on a Jewel Pro Spider jig, 7/16, gravel mixed with rock, kind of bluff pocket points, not really long points. Okeechobee Blue, Green Pumpkin Candy, Missouri Craw, matched up with a Speed Craw has been the best offering on that. I know guys are catching them on a big worm up there too. Throwing a 10 or a 12-inch worm, Texas rig, fishing it around those brush piles. As the water starts to settle down and they stop running this current, these fish will really start to relate to brush piles. So if you've got some good brush piles in that 12 to 20 foot range, now's the time to start throwing a big worm in it. Did down at the lower end of the James, I guess you call it, right around Ants Creek, we did catch a few on the big flutter spoon. Had a viewer send me a message last week about how he fishes a flutter spoon, basically ripping it off the bottom, and I tried that and actually caught a few doing that. So again, I'm still learning this flutter spoon deal, but throwing the 5 or the 7-inch sexy spoon has been the two I've been throwing. And normally I'm throwing it and just kind of ripping it over top of the ledges on drop-offs, but he actually kind of talked me into fishing bluff ends and some more of the steeper points and letting it sink all the way to the bottom, even as deep as 50 foot deep, and ripping it up off the bottom. And did catch a few doing that. So, you know, have a flutter spoon tied on if you're going up the James. Go up into the White River where I am today. Can't go up a whole lot further than I am today, maybe a few miles. Bite's been good up the White, catching a lot of fish up the White. Did a trip on, this was Sunday. I don't know, we had 35 or 40 bass. It was a pretty darn good trip, and most of those were on a drop shot and a spoon, but definitely have a topwater tied on. We caught a few on topwater right off the bat. Again, they're kind of back in the creek arms or on those steeper banks around timber. It seems to be the best clue I can give you, or the best advice I can give you as far as looking for these topwater fish. Look for them to be around standing timber. Really seems to be where they're at. Spook, Sammy, Whopper Plopper, Popar, Surge Shad, whatever your favorite topwater is, have that tied on, because they have been coming up for about 30 to 45 minutes. Some days a little bit longer, some days a little bit less. Just kind of depends on the amount of sunlight and the amount of clouds. Then we switched over to a drop shot, caught them on a shad shape, caught them on a cut tail, caught them on a UV drop shot worm, and caught them on a Chomper's drop shot worm, fishing trees. I can't overemphasize how important it is to fish trees right now. We're basically fishing wintertime spots, the stuff we normally fish in the winter where there's no thermocline. These trees can be over as much as 120 feet. They top out anywhere from 25 to 60 feet down, and you're just looking for the fish hanging around the tops of those trees feeding on shad. Most of them, trees top out around 30, boats in about 50 to 70, and we're just basically dropping down and catching them doing that. Again, shad shape and cut tail, all those baits are working. Like I said, we had a great day, and I guess I'd call it the mid-white, kind of around Shell Knob last Sunday. Caught a lot of fish on a drop shot rig, so have that tied on. And then a jig. Didn't really throw a jig today. Kind of got messed up by the fog. We spent a lot of time looking for drop shot fish in the trees, looking for topwater fish. Kind of messed us up. Probably should have thrown a jig a little bit more today. The 7/16 Jewel Pro Spider jig, Okeechobee Blue, of course, Green Pumpkin Candy, matched up with the Speed Craw, has been good up here on these steeper transition type banks where you got rock and gravel mixed, anywhere from about 12 to about 20 feet deep. Been catching them doing that. And I did make a trip up here late last week and through the flutter spoon, again, going off of the advice of one of the viewers, and did it more ripping it off the bottom on more of the I wouldn't say just pure gravel, but more gravel rock mixed. Longer sloping points, kind of like a roll-off, like a gravel roll-off where it's shallow and then rolls off in the deep water. Throwing it up on that roll-off, and most of them were 35 to 50. Throwing it, letting it sink, and ripping it up off the bottom. And again, it's that 5 or 7 inch sexy spoon from Strike King has been what I've been catching them on. So keep that in mind if you're up here and you're looking for 1 or 2 quality bites. You're not going to catch a ton of fish on it, but you will catch some quality fish throwing that big flutter spoon and ripping it off the bottom or ripping it over top of those ledges. Both of those have been working up here too. Guys, we're at the end of July. We got 2 more weeks of kids being out of school, so 2 more weeks of 7 days a week and being busy, which is fun. Things will slow down. The lake will slow down. You won't have near the boat traffic here in about 2 weeks. So about got our lake back. Get past Labor Day and we definitely will have our lake back. So things are looking up. The fishing is getting better. It was tough today, but I have had several really good trips in the last week. Catching a lot of fish on a drop shot, catching them on a spoon, and catching a few on a jig. So the bite is definitely getting better. If you guys are coming down, you want to learn how to drop shot, now is the time. I mean, absolutely now is the time. We spent most of the day today me teaching them how to drop shot. We fished some trees, we fished some gravel runouts, fished some boat docks. But if you want to learn how to do that, now's the time to do that. Just coming down for a quick week getaway, give me a call. We can get out and go fishing. Pretty booked up for the next 2 weeks, but once we get past that, get the kids back in school, I've got a lot of openings. So if you guys are coming down, thinking about hiring a guide, give me a call. It's Focus Fishing Guide Service. You can reach me at 417-860-4743 or hit my website, focusfishing.com, and either shoot me an email or book online. Either way, I get back to you as soon as I can. Try to get something set up. But guys, thanks for watching the videos. Take a minute to subscribe if you haven't. Really appreciate that. But thanks for watching. Can't wait to hear from you. We'll see you on the water.